Okay, we're going to do one more tonight and then we're going to call it. So our next one is going to be Attaturk Golf Club at Cappadocia by DDIX Junior 509. I'm just going to call him DDX because that's what I always call him when we do these. And give this one a look. His country was Turkey. What we got going there? Green, white, and red. So he's actually using the colors out of the Turkish flag as the T colors. Fun, fun. That's a look right there. Went away from the traditional cart pass. Is using a light rough walkway. It looks like. God, Twitch is pissing me off tonight. So I'm doing some like weird shit. And we gotta get rid of Jeremy Mayo's ghost ball there. And we gotta see if Griff can still hit straight. So we're at that point in the night, yo. I like the layers created by these bunkers over here on the left. It gives us a very stair-step look with the bunkers. That's kind of a cool look. Probably could have raised that second, starting with the second one, raise that elevation just a little bit to get more from looking there, but that's a pretty cool look right there. Turkey's a little bit different landscape because it's a lot of people think it's very arid. When you get up north, it definitely has some forested areas and all that. So, but a lot of possibilities on this. Sorry, I only switched clubs because I accidentally thought that. I'm trying to still look around everything. So we got like a semi-quasi little beach going on over here. Okay, let's start this round off and see what we got here. A waterfall over there. It's well done. When I do these streams, I don't really zoom in and focus on waterfalls and the such. So, not a bad look there. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this bunker quite yet. And wrong with it. It feels like it should be, I don't know. It feels a little bit weird, out of place, but the one thing I would do is raise my tee box here. You're hiding a lot of good work by keeping the entire green lower than the level right there. I would have elevated it or at least had it up at sight line level. Would have popped a lot more. You got your beach here, you got your bunker in behind there, so why hide it? And we got a balloon because the Turks love their fucking balloons. Well, we got a shot here. Okay, she's going to get ice. It's going to be noisy. Sorry. At least she let me know. I don't know if that's truth or not, Stately. I know some Turks. We have never had a conversation about balloons before. They're 176, so they've got some movement to them as well. That's par save. Good opening hole. Like I said, I would have done the green a little bit different on that one. I would have raised it up and actually made it visible. You lost a lot of the oomph on that hole by hiding the green complex. He's got this ridge line running down the right side of this part of the course. Haven't backed out to kind of look at the routing at all yet. Interesting. Right up against the waterfall on that one. Probably a little bit of the overkill with the balloon back there in the background on me. And then we got like a bunch of dicks sticking up over there. So, waypoint, waypoint, waypoint. And this is just something that comes with time as a designer. I mean, you learn tricks on this shit. But I would have put my waypoint a little bit further down here. You can still keep your yardage on it if you do it right, but it's just a little bit more natural thing. I mean, you don't want somebody teeing off with a 6-iron back there. But once again, that's just something that comes with time and the designer. Nothing more you can say about that. I'm just trying to figure this out, man. So when DDX, when he watches this, you got to give me the heads up, the 411 on what the fuck's up with the balloons and the phallic structures back there. So now I'm pretty good with geography. I'm actually very well traveled. There's not too many places in this world that I haven't been to, and the ones I haven't been to are places I probably don't want to be or don't need to be. Um, I know that Turkey does have some very interesting landscape features. That's why I mentioned at the top of the stream that a lot of people think of it as being this very arid, dry area, but that's more around Istanbul slash Constantinople. And east of that, when you get over the western regions of Turkey and everything else, it's more grassy steppe lands and forested areas. But I'm not sure that the balloons, especially, are things I necessarily would have thrown in on a contest course because they're not going to give you points. We're not going to count points against you because of them, but it's going to be a WTF moment. But I would be interested to find out. I'm going to do a little bit more research on the phallic symbols we have growing across this ridge over here and actually see if that's a natural landscape because, to be quite honest, it's not one I'm familiar with. But, okay, gotcha. So, okay. So we actually have people in the stream that are actually validating what he's got going and saying it's Cappadocia. So it's this apparently is a thing. So okay, kudos to DDX. Thank you, baby. So my beautiful lady just came and gave me goodnight kisses. That's always a good thing. I hung that out to the left. Based on the Google images, he's light on balloons. So, like I said, it was just one of those regions that I'm not familiar with. And as I get into the judging, I will focus more on that and all that. I would say, especially for a contest, you want to focus on your fairways where they meet your greens. Try to make your fairways actually run right into your greens, those edges right there. So you're coming in, and it's not quite perpendicular. This is not a egregious, thing right here. I'm sure there will be a course that I will point out during these streams that actually does that, but you just want to make those kind of run in there a little bit more linear and match up with your brushes. It just gives it a more refined, clean look to what's going on. That was a horrible chip. Hey, like I said, man, you learn something every day, and I just got schooled by DDX. It was just not a part of Turkey that I was familiar with. That's why I said and you guys heard me. I did not say they don't belong. It was something I was going to have to research. It was just something I was not familiar with, and I missed that. So, yeah, yeah, I know, right? That's a great comment. Who expected the feedback would be add balloons and make the rocks more dick-like? There you go. The shit you can only get from these streams. So kudos to DDX. He did some hardcore research right there. He found a very unique. Oh, I parred that. I thought that was for bogey. Lucky me, I'm still on pace for even par. So that's a very cool thing that he took the time to really research a very unique area um, and play it to the hilt. No pun intended. Dude, I've called him DD or DDX forever. I know it's DDIX Junior, blah, blah, blah. But ever since he started being in contests, I've called him DDX. It's just, sorry. Sorry that offends you, Patrick Lawless. You want me to make up a name for you too? I've got one right on the tip of my tongue right now. I actually said that at the very beginning of the stream, like the first thing I actually said at the beginning of the stream, that I gave his actual name and said, but I call him DDX. I always have, kind of always will. So you missed the first 45 seconds, apparently. I did not hit that hard enough. Yeah, I already gave him full name recognition and gave him his name and everything else, but I said that I've always called him DDX, and it's just easier for me to keep that in my head when I'm going through these streams. That way I don't get tongue tied on DDIX or DIDDX or whatever goes out for. So he's just DDX. Always has been, always will be. Whew. Even par mastery of this. Got a little bit more humpity bumpity in his sculpting here. Waypoint down to the left hand side. That's just nothing more than a theory, Todd Father. They've never proven that or not. They've never actually found the ark there. To my knowledge, anyway, they've never found remnants or anything else. They're just going by what they can figure out per scripture and about where everything was in the world at that time, that they think that's where it landed. But it's, to the best of my knowledge, it's a freaking guess. So someone may correct me. They can find like some kind of internet search that will undoubtedly prove me wrong. But, well, the thing about this is, if you go on this left-hand side, I don't know that you get an angle into the green. So you almost have to iron up and leave it short. You get that right-hand side, and that is pretty narrow little shot, man. Yeah, it's definitely a can of worms because, I mean, there's a lot of arguments can be said for that. I mean, it's like, regardless of what a person's faith standpoint is, from everything we know from being able to time date geographically, geologically, the world was not covered all in water at that time. So that means that there was artistic license taken in Scripture. However, that flies in the face of some people that say, oh, hell no, you can't do that because it was divinely inspired, blah, blah, blah. But a guy on a boat, when he looks around for however many days and doesn't see anything but water, would probably say the entire world was covered in water. So take from it what you will. Well, the TV shows say it's there, but I have never seen archaeological proof that they have ever found Noah's Ark at Mount Ararat. So, sorry, I'm still going over this shot right here. Believe it or not, Griff may sound like a Southern hick redneck, but is a lot more versed in a lot more different subjects than you think he is, and Scripture is one of them. I was talking a little bit off the cuff right there, but if you really want to have a debate over Scripture with me, you better come fucking armed. Yep, see, this is what I was afraid was going to happen. Mm-mm-mm. This is just nasty wicked right here. I can do a lot of really bad things with this shot. And it's not it's a bad hole. I'm not going to lie and say that I'm a really big fan of it because this area over here that may have just been my eyeballs lying to me looks really freaking thin. So when you do a hole like this, and I don't mind blocking off with the trees if you give me a viable place to land in front, and I don't know that I get that, so I can pitching wedge, out to that point, and that's not even guaranteed to clear the trees, kind of thing. I guess I could have played more left just to make sure my pitching wedge could have cleared that tree. I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with it, but man, that pisses me off actually. I was way, way, way left of that damn tree. How I just clipped it is beyond me. That is a freaking mystery. That is a freaking mystery. Oh well. Let's take our par here and go on with life. Um, well, Stately, it's not the way I would personally design a hole. I'm not going to indict him on that because he gave you options. It's not like he built this and made you land into this. Had I not had the crosswind I had, I probably would have gone for it, and that's probably a little bit wider than it looks. That's probably about 18 yards to 20 yards wide. So, I mean, it's not like it's a 10-yard wide section of fairway. That is hittable. Um, the safe side is obviously, over that other side. It's just that the way the tree is placed, and my shot has nothing to do with his design. I don't know how I hit the damn tree. You guys saw it on my stream. I aimed way, way left of that tree and was fading it back into the right. So I was hitting a cut shot. So I don't know how I hit the tree limbs being that close to the tree on that shot. It wouldn't have started the cut from there. But, I mean, I don't have overall problems with it. It's a little bit different. It's not a design that I probably would have, taken on, but that doesn't mean what he did was bad or wrong. Yeah, and I agree with Pithy right there. I mean, the way that I would see that whole setting up is that on a par 5, that green is reachable if you go down the right-hand side. But to make it reachable, you're playing with being pinched down that side. That's the risk-reward option. Playing to the left gives you a safer shot, but it takes your chances of getting on that green in 2 a lot less. Now, it's only a 548-yard par 5, so even playing to the safe side, if I didn't have that tree in my way, I'm absolutely on that green in 2 shots. I mean, that's just the nature of video game golf. That's how it plays. So he extended that tree line out to protect himself a little bit more. So the only way you're going to get there is by playing way, way out to the left off the tee. And I knew that before I hit that shot. I mean, I knew it. I was actually playing that to kind of get a feel for what he's doing with this tree line. So I knew the play was out to the left. That being said, it's like, okay, at that point, where are you giving me my bailout? So I played to the safe side. I'm not going to make it in 2, so where's my shot go? Oh, okay, I can use a pitching wedge to get it up to actually the exact same place I hit a 5 wood too. You know, I could have done the exact same thing with a pitching wedge from that same spot. So from a design standpoint, you kind of have to start thinking things out. To me, a better option would be to have that left-hand fairway flared out more to where the runoff was to the left, to where you really make it a longer shot, to where it's not reachable in two, and there's a way to do it and it feel natural versus what he did. But that's only my own perspective as a designer. That's not a judging system. It's not me saying what he's done is wrong or bad. It's just saying that as a designer, that's a way I would have approached it versus, the way that he did on that. So that's all in the world that is. We do have some funky waypoints going in around here. I don't know if I'll clear this or not, but we're going to see. The wind is kind of against me, and I'm hitting slow backswings like every shot now for whatever reason. Wine's taking hold. Okay, we got over. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to create difficulty that's fair and a little bit more subtle than just sightline, kind of stuff. But and part of that comes with just being a designer for a while and playing around with it. I mean, that's what a lot of that is actually. Um, no, a question absolutely makes sense. There are some things I exaggerate, but not as much as you would think. I mean, there's a lot of examples of exaggerated features, even with real course designers. I mean, look at Mike Strands. That dude created exaggerations on damn near everything he did. Outside of that, um, I wouldn't say that I exaggerate too much, but I try to be strategic in where I place things. So when I'm creating camber in certain areas, I want it to make sense. I don't want to place it just to make it harder. It needs to make sense as to how physics work in real life on golf courses and why a real course architect might put this in there, kind of deal. Um, I mean, there's different people that there's different ways to approach it, and even yeah, exactly. And I mean, and that's the thing. And guys, honestly, this is why I don't do RCRs. There's a couple of reasons why I don't do RCRs. The first of which is that me personally, this is nothing at all against designers that build RCRs. I do not want this to be taken out of context. There are people that really enjoy doing that. It's a chance to play a course that you're not likely going to get a chance to play in real life, so you kind of get that feeling of playing it, even though it will never, ever be 100% replicated in a video game. You just cannot do it. It's fucking impossible. But it's not my thing. There's inspired buys I would take on. I'm actually going to be doing an RCR, counter to what I just said, with Aces Are Wild. He's already laying out Tobacco Road, and we are going to be doing an RCR of Tobacco Road. And then if that goes well, we'll move on and do other courses along the way, particularly Strance courses, like Tot Hill Farm and Caledonia, True Blue, Royal New Kent, Stonebridge, blah, 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 Bull's Head. We will actually do pure RCRs of his courses. But for me, I like thinking about, if I have a plot of land, I like to design from the approach of, well, what if I was commissioned to do Oakmont? How would I do Oakmont? I don't want to do Oakmont. It's already fucking been done. Everybody knows it. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's watched it on TV. They know the green breaks. They know this and that. What would Griff's Oakmont look like? It wouldn't look like, what you guys know as Oakmont. That's why I like the designer. I'm building golf courses that I would build in real life, within a game. That's the attraction to me. That's not taking away from what RCR designers do. The other point that I was going to make on it is that, with the exaggerations, particularly is that there are some very good RCRs that play pretty challenging in TGC1 and TGC2. But by and large, most true RCRs are pretty fucking boring, if we're going to be honest about it. Because you're building a course that's built on real life, that has real life mechanics and real life fuck ups that don't exist in a video game. And you're also building a course true to life that you have fixed distances and everything else. I mean, meaning like in real life, I can drive a ball further than I can drive a ball in TGC2. In real life, there's people that drive a ball a shit ton longer than I do, but I'm not limited to 285 yards on my driver. That's not even my fucking average in real life. For those that don't know, I am a legitimate golfer in real life. I've got a plus 2.2 handicap. I'm not a small guy. I mean, I ain't like fat and all that, but I mean, I'm every bit of 6'2", 235 pounds, and I drive a ball pretty close to 300 yards off the driver. And that's pretty accurate for me. If I try to hit further than that, I can hit further than that, but I'm not nearly as accurate off there. So, you know, you're building a course within the physics and the restraint of what the game offers, and that's something that has to be in mind. That's why when I see people pop up and say, well, this should be done as an RCR. No, it shouldn't. It's only a 6,600 yard course in real life. The fuck are you going to do to make it challenging? Anybody with tour clubs and most people with player clubs are just going to obliterate your course, man. You're okay. Now you can go to the greens, you can exaggerate green slopes, and you can make it more challenging. But at that point, is it really an RCR? You know, you're trying to emulate the real life course as much as possible. So RCR designers, they have a unique talent. It's a unique art, and I applaud them for what they do, because there is a lot of time and effort that goes into that, you know, of triangulating, measuring, and getting all that out. But when you exactly, that's exactly what it is, Dan. In real life, you have people that hit different distances, and a lot of the things that are a challenge in real life are never going to be a challenge in a video game, ever. A 265-yard bunker in real life is a legitimate hazard to most people. In this game, 265 yards is not a hazard at all unless you've got a 15-mile-an-hour headwind right back in your face, because you're going to clear it with tour clubs every single time. Every single time. So at that point, it's just there for aesthetics. So what I would tell RCR designers is you better look at your course before you decide you're going to build this. For instance, Be Smooth, and I like him. Justin's a great guy. I applaud him for taking on Chicago Golf Club, but it's not going to offer the same challenge in this video game as what it does in real life. It's not anything to be comparable to what you're going to face. It's just a whole different experience kind of deal. So, I mean, that's where I just come from RCRs, is that it just has to be the right one. It has to have the right distance. It has to have the right contouring, right camber, right sight lines, right elements for it to be successful, in my opinion, as a true video game RCR. I mean, hell, Augusta is going to be challenging just because of the bends, the folds, the camber, the bunkers, the placing, and the freaking greens are going to make that a challenging game or a challenging course in game when it's done right. But not every course can say that. You know, I've looked at different courses that I'm like, I'd really like to do this course, you know, as an RCR. Like English Turn. I've played both English Turn and TPC Louisiana. I think English Turn is the better course. But you have to understand the two golf courses, and they're sister courses. They're right next to each other. They're not challenging for a golf game. English Turn maybe a little bit more because the greens are more, they're non-traditional greens. They're more long and narrow style greens. In real life, that course will kick your ass. In real life, it's not an overly long course. It will fucking brutalize you. But in a video game, no, not so much. I don't know, Patrick. I mean, okay, one course that I've played in real life that I think would make a great RCR is called Potomac Shores. It's in Virginia. Beautiful freaking course. It's a Jack Nicklaus course. Extreme elevation up and down. You wouldn't think about it from there. But he's got some really cool layouts. It's got enough length to it. Would make a perfect freaking course for TGC1, TGC2, or this golf franchise. But It's not a well-known course. So it's not going to get the accolades that Oakmont or Augusta or Pebble Beach or the shit that people watch on TV. It's not going to get that kind of rapport. But it would be one of the best playing RCRs in the entire game. But, people look at RCRs, and what it tells me is a lot of time on RCRs, when people go into them, they only know them by name recognition. They don't actually know shit about golf architecture or the best courses. They only know them because they've seen them on TV and name recognition. Because, like, even at Sawgrass, of the two courses that are there, they're the primary courses at the TPC Sawgrass. The stadium course is not even the better of the two courses, man. And that comes from fucking pro golfers. That comes from everybody that lives here that plays it. The members, it's not the best course. It's not even considered to be one of the top 10 best courses in Florida by people that actually live here and play golf in Florida. You want to play the best courses in Florida? Go play Stream Song. Any one of the three. I've actually not played the black. Red and blue are fucking amazing. Stream Song is like the wet dream of golf in the state of Florida. Go play Copperhead at Innisbrook. Amazing course. Go play Old Corkscrew in Attaturk. Well, that's what it is, Patrick. You just nailed it. It's got 3 holes. It's got 3 amazing holes. The rest of the golf course is, I've seen better. I've got courses within 30 miles of me that I would rather play than ever playing Sawgrass. I played Sawgrass. I played a lot, actually. There's not much in Florida that I haven't played quite a bit. Stream Song is amazing. It's definitely worth it. I mean, hell, man, my home course here is a Greg Norman course called Shark's Tooth, and it's not overly great or challenging, but it's a very nice laid out course. Its sister course is Camp Creek. It's a Fazio course, and it will give you every bit of a fight. It will give you every bit of golf you want. So, but it's, it's just, I'm just illustrating what people know and what they don't know. And they see shit on TV, and they don't realize that a lot of these golf courses they see on TV aren't the best golf courses in and around the area. It's what they've done to make them TV production-wise. We had this conversation the other night, like at Pebble Beach. Pebble Beach is not the best course there. I would not have it in my top 4. I would argue it might not be in my top 5. Just in its own complex, it's not the top course. To me, the Inn at Spanish Bay is a much better course. Spyglass, Poppy Hills, all better courses than actual Pebble Beach. Monterey Peninsula Country Club, better course. Actually, if we want to get down to the military course there, Bayonet Black Course, better course. Del Monte, better course. I mean, Cypress Point, definitely better course. But people don't see those. They see Pebble Beach, and all of a sudden it is what it is. So, anyway, let me get back to giving DDX his props here. So, didn't mean to get sidetracked there. It's just like one of those funny things. And we can debate because we all have courses we like and we love and everything else. I mean, we used the comparison before about subjectivity that there will be some people that argue that if you pick Pebble Beach and Oakmont and Augusta, and you set them side by side and put X amount of people in a room, all 3 courses are going to be considered the best course by certain people. And they're not going to be wrong in their opinion because it's only their opinion. It fits their eye, it fits their style, it just fits what they want to see in a golf course, So there's not a wrong answer to it, but you can't say somebody else is wrong for their opinion on the exact same subject. And especially when you start getting some guys in a room that actually know designers and actually know the famous designers' least well-known courses, oh, Lord, you can have some interesting debates there. And I'm not ignorant on the subject, fellas. I actually study golf course design. I know a lot of these guys. Some I like more than others, but I'm just not that big of a fan of Pebble. And I've played it. I mean, it's not like I'm just watching it on TV. I fucking played the course, so it's just not my favorite course. Well, and I mean, I'll be completely honest, that in a contest, your shit better play on point. Scenery is always secondary in a contest. Always. You've got to have it. It's got to look right, and it's got to look like it belongs. But your course better play fucking spot on. I'm glad this is a par 5 because I'm caught up in conversation, reading things, and I'm not actually hitting good shots now. Ooh, way out of the cone. That sucks. Stay out of the water. Maybe we can par this. Nope, there it goes. Never had a chance. Yeah, I mean, Patrick, if you and I got in a room and we sat down, that'd be one of the first things I'd talk about. And I appreciate it because you have some very nice looks around your course. And you actually have courses that play pretty well also. But when you're going to do a contest, there's got to come a point that you understand that you've got to put that playability paramount, man. It's just got to be there, and it's got to be on point. Quit worrying about what it looks like in the beginning and make it play exactly the way you want it to play, and then do your looks, and you're going to be right up there at the top, man. I mean, you've been so close so many times anyway. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to playing Transylvania. Romania was one of those countries I was very intrigued to see what somebody was going to do with it, so I was glad to see him get it because I actually respect Patrick as a designer. I think he's got some great bones, always has some great ideas. In the beginning, it was about execution and just finishing off those ideas, and now that he's kind of accomplished it, so it's just finding that, it's getting over that hump and just pushing back to where everything is just so fucking spot on that it's impeccable, and he's almost there. He's not too damn far from it. All right, well, I guess, Patrick, I guess the best way for me to say is that a lot of your courses to me feel like you've had in your mind the way you're going to plant, even when you're designing your holes. You've already thought about how you're going to plant, and you're making your hole fit how you want to plant the hole and how you want it to look versus just straight up, this hole plays freaking amazing. And I could be completely wrong about that. That's just the way it's interpreted, and I'm not the only one to make that comment. I mean, you've had to have kind of gotten that vibe a little bit from some of the judges' comments from past contests. But I mean, hell, you finished second in the last one. You've been in the top 10 in several. So, once again, that's not saying you're not doing a good job, and it does not need to be interpreted that way at all. But it's a little bit different hole. This is kind of odd how it runs out. I mean, it's not bad. I'm actually a big proponent of these style greens where they're long and narrow, and they give you different angles. But you're also going to be locked into just about the same same distance on every shot. You're going to go back to about 168, 170 on that back at the most. You're not going to get much closer than that, but interesting hole. Sorry, I don't want to take away from what we're doing here for DDIX. I just don't want Patrick to feel like I'm harshing on him because that's not what I'm doing at all. I very much respect him as a designer and what he does. So, well, and that's where the subjectivity comes into it, Patrick. Is that a lot of people would rather play a really great playing course that looks mediocre than be given a lot of eye candy and it play subpar. Yeah, that was a lucky shot right there, man. I think that was the safe par, was it not? I was fucking that hole up. So this is an interesting hole, and I actually like what he's done. So he's pinched a driver down here. I don't have a problem with it because it's only 411 yards. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I will say you can be a little bit cleaner on your bunkering over here on this side. Just the way it ledges off and looks coming in there is a little bit sketchy. You'd almost be better with that side rail bunker right there of having your high side be into the fairway. So mound up your right hand side into the fairway and make it a slope off of that, and have your low side over here on the left hand side facing the tee. And that way you see it off the tee box. It makes it a little bit more intimidating tee shot. It also gives you that kick to where if you're not spot on, if you decide to take driver out of the bag, you're adding a little bit more of an element into your risk reward. But other than that, pretty interesting hole. I'll probably raise this bunker right here up just a little bit more. I don't mind the ribbon. I know some people that will bitch and complain that there's a ribbon of fairway behind it, but you see that a lot in real life. It's not a playable area, but it doesn't mean it's not there. Some people hate that, and it's like, oh, it's not natural. Well, yeah, actually it is. It's in a lot of golf courses, actually. But other than that, neat little hole. So we can get up here and see what the green's like. So the one thing I'll notice, and I'll just give one advice on it, instead of like taking your bunkers and like mount, or the way you've done the mounting here, is that you've got the low side of it right. I mean, this in and of itself works here, but try to keep them flatter coming into this area right here. Don't feel like you've got to take the entire bunker edge, this back edge, up that high. What you can do is keep that relatively flat through there, raise it just a little bit back here on this area, and then actually use your tools to just raise the terrain around the bunker up, and you still get that set in effect. And I mean, you can raise it, but there's something about the way this one's done that is like trying to fill it out. So keep your pan relatively flat from the edge of your green across here. Just raise this part up a little bit, this part up here a little bit, and then use your tools. I use the little half moon tool and some others and everything else, and then I raise up about 2 feet, 3 feet, just right around it, and it gives it a very built-in look to it. It looks a lot more natural laid into your green that way. I got to change clubs because I accidentally lofted there. I ain't looked at the shot, but probably would have been dead on. Whew. Well, slow down swing or back swing killed me on that one because I paused a long time at the top. That's what happens when it gets this late at night. A little bit of wine. You know how it goes. Get in there. Thought I could make that one. Thought I could make that one. I'm just parring the shit out of this one, ain't I? Where did I get that birdie from? Holy crap. I didn't realize I got a birdie. You can be a little bit cleaner on some of your fairway shaping. I'm going to assume that he uses shapes and not splines. It may be splines. I mean, it's sometimes hard to tell. But can be a little bit cleaner with your edging. Kind of start getting some little nips and gaps and everything else in here on that. And I'm not going to get too far into the scalloped edging on the rough. The other judges will be sure and touch that for you. That's a little bit of a no-no in design contest. You got to be really careful how you do your light rough. You don't want that scalloped edging. That becomes an attention to detail thing for them. So, kind of an interesting bunker complex we have going up here on that. So, it's not a bad look. It's something I personally wouldn't do, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. It's kind of a little bit different look. I'm not sure about the bunker plugged in on the backside right there, but I don't know that you need this one and that one both right there. Check out and see if that's another waterfall or the same waterfall. Definitely got to get with him on his waypoints. Slow and slow, and I don't see how either one of those were slow and slow. Fast and fast, I almost could have bought. But slow and slow, no fucking way. Okay. Well, here we go. On the 491 yard par 4, obviously. That's okay. I got a 1 iron and a 3 iron. I'm going to see just how bad I can jack this up. I was never going to get out of there. Yep, that was stupid. Just get it out of there. Get out here on the fairway and be done with it. Jeez. Yeah, I can feel it when I'm fast, man, but like that didn't feel like I could have actually bought that was fast and fast, but slow and slow, my finger moved back and forth on that damn thing like there was no tomorrow. So I don't know how that came about. Anyway, it is what it is. Ooh. Well, that just kind of stuck. I thought I was going to take another hop right there. I thought I was dead on that one. I was wrong. Oh, now we're back to even par. Okay, let's kick off the back 9 here. Okay, so here's an example of where I can highlight what I was talking about a little bit earlier. And, you know, there's going to be some people who are going to be like, oh, that's just being overly picky and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you, from a design standpoint, I'll do it when we get up to the green. But I'm going to hit this, and I'm going to tell you. And some of this just has to do with design contests. And if you don't do this, you're just fucking hanging yourself, you know? But I'll show you. But even, I mean, I'm very conscious of this, even not in a design contest. Like my courses, I am OCD as a sumbitch about this. So we're up here where you're bringing your fairway brushes or textures into your greens. So right here, we've got like this little point, like right there. We got this nice flow, this nice little inlet. It's flowing back out and everything else. Our fairway comes up there, and then bam, and that sticks out like a sore thumb. And all you've really got to do is take a straight edge brush and keep curving your fairway brush around to where it eventually meets that contour and ties into your green right there. So that right there is like one of those things. From a contest standpoint, you've got to do it. You will never, ever, ever win a design contest if you have your greens, your brushes going in perpendicular to your green brushes. It'll just never happen. This is very much an attention to detail thing. So you just want to keep coming around, curve it around, and then just tie that fairway brush nice and neat right into that point right there, and it just keeps the flow going. It matches the contour of your bunker, matches the contour of your green, you know, it's just a nice flow. Same thing on this backhand side over here. So you got it running in, and it's just perpendicular right into that. So what you need to do is start a curve right in here, start curving it in, and then bam, it just ties right into your green, and you keep that nice flow going. And then like right there, you can drop a hill in there, or I mean, you've already got the curve back in there. You see what I'm talking about? You've got a curve in here in your light rough in your first cut that follows the contouring of the green, but then you didn't do the same thing with your fairway. It just comes up here and it's just bam, right into the side. So just make that same flow fit. Keep those nice contours going, man. You got a nice hole, you got a nice smooth thing going, and then that one little thing right there starts getting a couple little ticks. But shut up, Dan. Other than that, I mean, interesting hole, and I don't want DDX to think that I'm like down in this course. That's not the case at all. But understanding that it's a critique, it's a contest, and we delve into these. I'm just pointing things out as I go along. So Nothing at all wrong with this course. It's just the way things kind of go. Oh, 85, up 7, 8-mile-an-hour wind. It is a wedge. You gave it bonus points for that, I'm sure. I gave it bonus points for being different. No, this is not an ADX course. I would use a different name if it was an ADX course. It would not be ADX. It would probably have vulgarities implemented within the framework of the name there. This is a DDX. I call him DDX. It's D Dix Jr. and some numbers behind it. 1 second. Ugh. My God, you guys like making me work. This is D Dix Jr. 509. Okay, so at 279, I can see a little bit on this because your carry, if you didn't have a wind back in your face, you'd actually carry a lot of that. And I don't mind that at all. I don't know that I'm going to take it on right there because of the side wind, and I'm not exactly hitting the best I've hit all night either. So it's what happens when you drink a bottle of wine. I was going to say no way ADX builds a course half this good because the only shit he's ever produced that was worthwhile was actually a Reebok course. So if you seem to think that ADX is a good designer, man, you actually haven't looked at his solo shit. He's not really fucking good. The best thing he's ever done was actually a Reebok course that was just a collab that Reebok actually did and ADX put his name on. So have fun with that little tidbit. He talks like he knows what the fuck he's doing, but he doesn't. I put him and John Eric kind of in the same category. Not only as people, but as designers. They're not very good. Like I said, man, did a lot of collabs. ADX was not a good designer. His most well-known stuff were all collabs. They had very little to do with. So take it for what it's worth. He's an asshole. What he's most well known for was Old Beaver Creek or Beaver Run, whatever that was. That's a fucking Reebok course, man. Go play it. It has Reebok written all over it. Reeb plays nice. I don't. I'll tell it like it is. That's a Reebok course. Every damn bit of it. Boy, that's a big old green right there, isn't it? That's a big old single shaped green right there. We got the same, not pulling our edges back in over there. So that's all just attention to detail stuff. Interesting hole. No need to make this green this big. And I realize 487 yards, but damn. Could have gotten that same shape, a little bit smaller, and created the same effect with it. That's just a little bit big. I don't know, Patrick. I followed some of those courses for a little bit and like played and was like, you got to be kidding me. But maybe he got better as he went along, but there reached a point that some of this shit was so god awful that I just quit paying any attention to it. So he may have released some stuff towards the end of TGC 1 or beginning of TGC 2 that was really good. I'll be honest, I don't know. I just gave up on him on trying to deal with the stuff. And one of the other judges disagrees with me, so there you go. You're getting points. No, and I'd agree with that, Dan. That's not what my point was. My point on that green was okay. Did I not say you could have gone smaller and gotten the same shape and the same angles with it? I mean, look at the width versus the length. I actually wouldn't have a big problem with that green if it wasn't as wide as it was, given as long as it is. If you go long and skinny, I give a lot more grace to that particular thing, because that's something I've actually seen a lot of real life designers do. It's not an uncommon thing, but it's a big freaking green. I mean, for 4 pins, that's pretty freaking huge. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look it up and play it. Not sure, but I stand by what I said. I know. I've already pointed it out. I actually gave him compliments on that on another hole. Man, you and Patrick both, you motherfuckers come in here late and like start trying to like blah, 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 piss on y'all. Late arriving to the party and start trying to start junk with me. You gotta be out your damn mind. I already gave him kudos on a long skinny green and said I liked it. You coming in here Dan the catcher, man. He's just mad because he got his ass spanked 2 weeks in a row. Hey, man, you guys ain't telling me anything new. I used to do it by my damn self. I know right where you're at. And I know you're right at the point in the season that CCM courses are becoming very few and far between, and you're trying to figure out what you can go back and dip in on, or if anybody's actually going to release something, or if you can start taking harder shit and moving up tee boxes to make it work. CCM sucks to schedule for. Sucks. I've been done with wine for a long time, man. Believe me, I'm far from drunk, intoxicated, or anything else. So I was done with wine an hour ago. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just the nature of design contests, that when you guys want me to stream and give feedback, I give feedback. I'm not going to, like, not call shit out that needs to be called out. And in a situation like this, he has great bones to a course. This is actually a really solid course. This is a course. I'll say it right now. This is a course I can absolutely see being on tour. Absolutely see being on tour. And he's about to prove my point right here. So, okay, Dan, this is what I'm talking about. Look at this green and compare it to the other one that you're wanting to argue with me about. So this one, still the same length, probably the exact same length side to side. But look at just what narrowing it down does. It creates a whole different element to the green, man. It's just a whole different feel to it. That I like. That I like. The other one was just a big fucking shape thrown in there with like lots of space and blah blah blah. It didn't give it character. It just made it a big fucking green. This one, I really like the shape. I like the way it flows around there and everything else. See? Yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna argue with y'all. Y'all just trying to piss me off. Dan's just pissed off because I've beaten him 2 weeks in a row and he doesn't know how to feel about that. And he hasn't gotten any diamonds in MLB The Show, so that's pissing him off too. You could have gotten away with a narrower. I didn't say he had to make it this narrow, but he could have gotten away with a narrower green on the last hole too. It did not have to be 60 yards wide. And you guys can argue with me all you want, but go poll 50 other designers and see what they have to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, like I said, you guys are taking what I said out of context, and it is what it is. You guys take that comment about that last green however you want to, but I'm going to stand by what I said, and you're not going to find very many of the top designers that are going to disagree with me on it. It was too freaking wide for what it was. So, like I said, you guys are trying to take some of what I say, and I've already said I could see this course on tour. That right there says a lot. I could be a pretty harsh critic when it comes to tour worthiness and everything else. I like a lot of what he's done with this course and everything else, but in the nature of design contests or shit that I got to point out, guys, I'm not doing him a favor if I don't point it out. And I promise you, if you go back and ask Reeb about that green, I don't even know if I can back over to it now. The hell did it go? Did it disappear? Okay. Reeb, dude, see that half moon green back there in the distance? I can't get into camera mode on this, or I'd actually go right up to it. If I was on PC, I could get right up there to it, but Brian, acknowledge that you're listening to the stream. Okay, so you've played it. So when you played that, what was your impression of that green? Even with it being a 479, 480 yard hole, what was your impression of that particular green? Ooh, serious lag on the backswing on that. So that one was my fault. Well, that was the only point that I made on it, and now then people want to argue with me about it. Is that I don't mind the length of it side to side, but it was too wide and too long in conjunction. Make it a little bit more narrow. And I'm not talking about, 6, 7 yards wide or like what he had the other one, which I thought was actually a very good green. I was talking about just making it skinnier and it goes across and it works, but having it, freaking 80 yards long and 40 yards wide, man, is a no-go. It doesn't freaking work. So that's all I was saying, guys, and I'm not the only one saying it. So take it for what it's worth. And for DDX, that's not an indictment, man. We're just kind of pointing it out, just the look of it and the feel of it and the play and everything else. So I know a lot's been made of it that didn't have anything to do with you or your green because people are just wanting to argue apparently. um, you all are, and you can't be so obtuse as to think you weren't. Because I made the comment, and then it was all of a sudden like, well, but it has to be that because it was a longer shot, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm not comparing it to this green. I'm saying I like this green because it's long and skinny. But, I 100% agree. For a longer shot, you have to have wider areas to play into and all that. But that was overkill. And then Dan came back and was like, yeah, but I liked it because it was, and Patrick's going to argue with me because he's Patrick. And then Dan's going to argue with me again because I've kicked his ass 2 weeks in a row. And then you've been apparently think I'm drunk, so you're going to argue with me more. Okay. I'm just messing, guys. We're having fun with this. And I don't take this shit seriously. Y'all know that, right? I need that to be very well known. I don't take this seriously. So I'm giving what I give. People can take it for what it's worth. And that is what it is. I don't know that we actually need to deloft that like that. Damn, my swing's going all over the place now. Oh, that's my thing. By and large, they are my opinions, and I've said that before every stream. You don't have to agree with them. Don't care. I'm just giving you my insight. I really don't even know what I'm doing in the designer, so I'm probably the wrong person to listen to. It would be better if somebody more qualified than myself were doing these. Believe me, I would not object. Interesting hole. I actually like the way this one lays out. I like the flow of that. So, big honking green there. I'm not a big fan of putting waypoints right in my hazards or right next to my hazards, but that's a personal choice. Yeah, I actually like the flow of this one. I like where he's brought the angles around. I don't know that he has to be as wide as he is on his fairway right here. I probably would have used some different shapes to different element into it, but the flow of it, I like bringing it back around left to right and then having the green setup elevated back off to the left. That's kind of a cool little feature right there. That was successful to me. The probably could have done more to set off this pop bunker we have here as far as elevation. And it's a cool thing to do because you can use this back lip when you raise it and you round that out a little bit. You can actually use that back slope into your green. So this whole ridge you've created right here, you actually could have accomplished just by raising your bunker. and it looked and felt more natural than just having that crowned all the way across. The creator is DDIX or DDix Junior 509, I believe. What's the last four? Yeah, 509. Yeah, I always call him DDX. It's DDix Junior 509. This is only the third one I've played PHJ, to be honest. So, I'm not gonna lie and say that I get visual boners off courses that much. So, uh, I now see if I mean, just objectively, I can't go into a lot of that because we're still actively judging these, and this is my first time playing these courses. That's something I try to emphasize when we start out that I've not played these courses yet. I do these when I start streaming. I do these as a fresh look for this particular reason right here, so I can look at it and not have a preconceived notion. I'm pointing out things as a first time viewer. It's just more natural. It's more organic with my feedback versus me having played it 4 or 5 times and I'm very honed in on shit that I either really really like or really really bugs me about a course, kind of deal. But and see, and that's the thing. I don't get into the playability of these courses a lot when I do these streams because I'm looking around more. I'm looking at how it plays versus the looks and everything else. So I'll get more into actually the layout, how it flows, how it plays, and everything else when I get into my score sheet. And that will, I don't stream that. I just do that when I'm going through and I'm nailing. I take my time with it and all that fun stuff. Man, this has bad shit written all over it right here. Slow, slow. I'd agree with slow on the backswing. I don't know how I got a slow down swing, but you're doing yourself a disservice there, PHJ. There's several courses in this that are worth loading up and playing. There's several. There's some really good courses that came out of this contest. Quit reading comments and play this damn course. I'm not doing myself any favors here. If you're going by pictures alone, you didn't like the silverback. I mean, that's a pretty picture-worthy course right there. I ain't trying to like hype Stay Puff 39 or anything, but let's be real, man. That's a visually gorgeous course by pictures. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Seaback. There's some really good-looking pictures floating in and around. This was a very, very, very deep contest. Oh my God. Woo! Okay. Uh. Yeah, that's just shy of 30 yards downhill, but jeez. Well, and I agree. And I mean, depending on what you mean by the quote sexiness unquote of the lighting, I think there are designers that are starting to go too dark. They're trying so much to get that pink and orange glow around it that it makes the round of golf just, for lack of a better way to phrase it, suck ass. Um, there's a happy medium. You can still get a glow, but you have to play with a little bit brighter setting. Use your haze. Use your, you know, um, the, raising and lowering the sun, orientation and such in different ways. But they're just starting to go too dark on some things. And it's like, okay, great. We're going to get a picture of 4 holes that look fantastic, and the rest of the course looks like shit because it's so dark. It's not even not even worth playing anymore. It's just too fucking dark. Uh, See, once again, I'm sitting here reading comments and everything else. I'm not like putting. I just barely tapped that for 21 feet, and I just slammed that one. So a lot of work on the ruins back there. Pretty nice little look. Jesus, I got to get a birdie here to finish up even par. I do believe. I think that was a bogey I just caught on that. So examine the closing hole right here. A neat concept. A little retaining wall action going on. I'm not going to give him my lecture on retaining wall. I know we're going to get under right here. We're going to birdie this one and get back to even par. So if you're going to come through and put retaining wall down, try to make sure the end of your fairway right here is low enough that you can actually look at the retaining wall. You're killing some of your sight lines because your elevation, the way you've ran it, you got a nice visual of the waterfall back there, but your bridge work, your retaining wall, I mean, you've lost every bit of that coming down into there. So, and it could have been fixed with just a couple little flicks of a sculpt. I mean, it's really just this hill right here that you've got going. There's no reason for it to be that high back there, so could have lowered it right in there, and then you have a really cool little visual hitting the shot in there. But another slow damn backswing. Good God, that's killed me as much as anything. It's cut the distance off of several of my shots. Of course, it may have helped me right there, because otherwise I would have flown the freaking green. That's okay. This is for eagle, so that means I should get it pretty close. Step back there and look and see what he's done over there with his. We've gone with retaining wall, and he's planted that iron fence up on top of it, so it's interesting. A neat little look. Have a little boardwalk right there, so. I'm not one to get in here and like focus a lot on the clubhouse kind of stuff when it's not like right up against the playing surface, but I take the time to look at what he's done right there. Okay, you can stop anytime now. We need that to get to even par. Quit rolling out. Damn. Give me a chance. There we go. Even par. So, this was Attaturk Golf Club at Cappadocia by D. Dix Jr. 509. So, went through. I know it sounded like there were some things I was probably harsh on. I like the fact that he took the time to research the, as was pointed out to me at the beginning, I didn't know. It was an area of Turkey that I was not familiar with. And I was like, okay. But people pointed out the balloons and what we're going to call the dick rocks at the beginning, the cock rocks, are very much a feature in Cappadocia, that region of Turkey. So kudos for taking the time to research that and building a course around that concept. So that's kind of a cool idea and all that. And I'm always down for that type of creativity. All in all, the course I think was pretty solid. Had a lot of good things going for it. There's some rough little edges here and there that I think. I mean, I always try to keep in mind that it seems like he's been around for a while, but he's not just like the most experienced designer. He's still, one of the up and comers in the design world. So I think he's on the right track. Few things can be cleaned up, and they're just small little things, that I try to point out on that. So I think as he refines his stuff over time, is going to put out some just really, really great stuff. And this is, like I said, this is a really solid course right here. So, I think it's one that's at least going to get a look at, some tour stuff and definitely societies kind of deal. It's got a nice little niche to it and everything else. So, very curious to see what the judges have to say on this and how it scores out. And, very excited to see what he brings to the table, next go round as far as doing that. So I like seeing where designers start and then watching how they progress through the course. And it's like every time they get a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. So see, yeah, it's already on tour. He said it's already week 31 on CC Pro. So there you go. It has been rated as a tour worthy course. So that in and of itself, speaks volumes. So, very cool course. Glad to see this come around. We'll see how it shakes out in the judging and all that, and where it stacks up to the field. And other than that, gentlemen, we got through the first 3 tonight. I'll be back tomorrow night, and we'll see how far we make it into that. I'm going to be streaming on Saturday. I'm going to do some during the day, some at night. I will not be streaming on Sunday, and then we'll be back to it next week, and we'll finish them up. And our plan is... the judges have this weekend, next week, and then next weekend, Mother's Day weekend, they will be finishing their stuff up. So a week from Monday, we will start going live with the results. And I'm going to figure out if I'm going to release multiples at a time or if I'm just going to do one a day. But I mean, shit, there's enough courses in that, that'll take a freaking month. But other than that, appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow night for you. So be sure and check in on that. Otherwise, Monday nights, TGCT After Dark, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 Central, 6 Pacific. If you live in the mountains, well, flip a coin. Other than that, guys, we're going to call this one. I'll be uploading all 3 of these tonight to YouTube in their separate formats. And I'll see what the best way is for me to actually embed them into the forums and all that jazz. So thanks again, guys. Hope you had fun, and we'll start in some more courses tomorrow night. Be good.